Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. What's that you say? A giant gray brick that's obtrusively decorated with stickers? You're right. That's a Game Boy, and it has anniversary stickers on it. That's right. I decorated my Game Boy when I was a kid with some Nintendo Power stickers that came out, and I sort of regret it. But much like many other Nintendo systems, Game Boy systems, etc., my Game Boy has significant graying, yellowing, and that's pretty gross. So these stickers made it look a little bit less obtrusive and helped it age a little bit better. I said better, I didn't say it aged gracefully. So the Game Boy is pretty much the thing that launched Nintendo into the handheld division, besides the Game & Watch little toy, the one play, one level consoles that they had out at the time. This was actually the first interchangeable handheld system, much like the Nintendo, where you didn't just have one game console per game. You could pull out many cards and play many games at one time if you wanted to. This was a mono system, meaning it does not have stereo. This also does not have any capacity for recharging, and its contrast bar as well as screen resolution is absolute crap. Having said that, this was so successful that it actually beat out two competing handhelds, the Atari Lynx and the Atari Lynx 2, but also the Sega Game Gear. Now, there may have been revisions of it, such as the Game Boy Pocket, that helped it beat out these things, but this is the thing that got it off the ground. The Game Boy launched a couple years after the initial launch of the Nintendo, and if you really want the exact date, I don't feel like looking it up right this moment, so Google's just a quick click and type away if you really need that information. However, I know it was released very early on, and you can tell by its design that it was released to look and mimic just like the Nintendo was. Because it's so clunky and blocky, it doesn't really look like a handheld should or does nowadays, as we have cell phones that are almost as tiny as, I don't know, a calculator, or let me see here, maybe a pocket mirror that you use to do your makeup. You know, these things are absolutely small, tiny pieces of little information. Even on this little thumbstick, I could fit this with like 10,000 games for it. They are so minuscule on how we can make things today, but back in the day that was not the case. When this was issued out, it was a big deal because now you could play your favorite Tetris game on your Game Boy, and you could actually play it on the go. So if you had a business trip or something, or maybe, you know, you had a family vacation and you were driving to California, 3-day drive, oh man, this is so boring. Well, I got my Game Boy here and I can play it now. So it's not so boring. Kept you out of your parents' hair, kept your parents entertained, kept your parents happy because you weren't bothering them, and kept you happy because you could play on the go. Right. So, let's delve into it, shall we? The Game Boy, the original Game Boy, was mono, as I stated before. It is not stereo. So, the speaker here is crap. This actually came with a port where you could put your earphones there, which is a very big thing because your parents didn't want to hear you playing your game, and a ton of other people around you at the airport probably didn't either. So headphones were nice to keep people out of your face. Standard button layout, D-pad up, down, left, right, no 8 direction, only 4. Limits gameplay, but oh well. 2 buttons, A and B, start and select. Not that much different from the Nintendo controller, actually. More or less, this could be a Nintendo controller by itself, except with a sound and a little piece of screen on it. This ran on 4 AA batteries and chomped them down pretty good, but it lasted much longer than the Game Boy Pocket did with its 2 AAA batteries. The screen is a monochrome LCD, green and yellow with black tint. It's very hard to see things on it. I would strongly suggest you not play this because we have much better Game Boys out today that can play the same games on this, but you can actually see them on the other screen. And if you happen to own one of these and you're a heavy smoker, please do not smoke around it because you can see the yellowing with mine. I did not smoke, but I was with a family that did for a very long time, and my Game Boy was yellowed because of it. It is very, very gross. There's a way to get rid of yellowing, but it is extremely hard. When purchasing a Game Boy, you need to check for yellowing. Same with any other console that was like this back in the day. On, off is on top, as always. Nothing new, nothing special. That's how it's always been with Game Boys for a very long time. Contrast is on the left side. It tells you more and less, and the charge for an AC outlet is right here, which is really weird because it's not down below where the batteries would be. So, odd placement for that. Oh, on the other side here we have an extension port, which is a bit fatter than the Game Boy Pockets, meaning if you had a fat cable or you had a skinny cable and you tried to put them in each other, they wouldn't fit, so you would have to get the exact cables. The volume knob is here as well, just in case you didn't want that annoying noise coming out and biting your head off. Right here is where you insert the game pack. Pretty simple pin connection. It says Nintendo Game Boy on it. Nothing out of the ordinary. On the back you have your serial number as well as imprinted model number DMG 01 1989 Nintendo, rating DC 6 volt. This is actually much higher than that of the Pocket and the Color, actually double, as those take 3 volts. So that's interesting. It was made in Japan and it has patent pending on it. So you can kind of see, as you can also see, it doesn't have the safety information. Let me grab this other one here. This is lacking. This device complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules. This does not have it on it because it was such an early release. I don't think the FCC cared at that point, or the laws and regulations weren't in. Here is where you put the batteries at, and yeah, that's about it. You can kind of see the circuit board when you take out the batteries. It says 1989 Nintendo on the circuit board, and yeah. So the original Game Boy is what really kick-started handheld gaming, and it's held true today. Even as the PSP fights for a piece of the market share, and who's to say who else is going to pop up? Sega failed and Atari failed, where Nintendo succeeded. And when it all boils down to it, it's not about technology or how good your gaming system is. As I've always stated, it's all about the games. So if you don't have fun games, even if you have the most powerful gaming system in the world, it will not work. So, Nintendo had Zelda, Metroid, and Super Mario. And that was enough to spawn tons and tons of other titles on it to make it more powerful, more stronger, and better. That everyone else wanted it rather than the Game Gear and the Lynx, which were both 10 times ahead of this thing. By the way, we didn't get a backlit screen until, I believe it was 2004, 2005 with the SP. Yeah. The Lynx and the Game Gear had it back in 92, I believe. So, just a thought. At any rate, guys, I'm Protomario, and I'm signing on. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like my channel, if you like what I do, give me a little subscriber rooney, because I appreciate my subscribers, and they make me happy. At any rate, if you're looking to pick one of these up, you can probably purchase them for $1 or $2. If you go to a flea market, you can probably find them for $5, $10 at the most. They aren't expensive, but I wouldn't pick them up unless you're a collector for some reason. I don't even know why you would collect original Game Boys. You only need one in your collection to say you got it. And I only have this one because I've had it for almost 23 years now. So there's no point for me to get rid of it or buy a new one unless I just want a new one for whatever reason, because I'll never play it, because I have my Game Boy Colors, I have my Game Boy Pocket and Advance, DS, SP, 3DS, I could go on and on and on. I love collecting Game Boys, but not these. Again, I'm Protomario, and I'm signing out. And hey guys, if you like this video, please leave a comment stating what you think about it. What was your favorite Game Boy game? And did you have a Game Boy as a kid? If you didn't, tell me if you wanted one or not. And I'm Protomario, and I'm signing out. And happy gaming, guys.